Hey, Reilly Elementary students, how are you? Welcome to week 5. I hope you guys had a nice spring break. I'm going to put my glasses on top of my head again so you don't have to see that glare. But hey, let's get started. So open up your purple notebooks. Actually, my class is purple, I know for sure, but I don't know about the rest of you. Open up your language arts notebook, your reading notebook, wherever you take those notes, and open up to a brand new spanking page, okay? Margin at the top, holes on the left. You guys know by now how I like it. All right, so let me get my pen out of here and we will get started. I would like for you to put in the margin, we are going to be working on U5L5. Remember how I said we were skipping around? Well, we really are skipping around. So we're in Unit 5, Lesson 5, okay? And we're going to be talking about sequencing today. Sequencing should be pretty easy for you, I would assume. Hopefully my pen decides to work today. Sequencing. Now, all this really is a fancy way of saying putting things in order, okay? So it really is just, that's all it is it's the order of events, okay? And I'm going to take my notes over here just so I make sure that I'm putting everything I need to tell you down on the screen. So the order in which for information is presented. And I'm going to just cross out this and put it here. Information is presented. INFORMATION. I'm sorry about that. And this is, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. This is bad. EN. There. Okay. Better. At least a little bit. All right. So the thing is, I want you to know is this information must be in order. Okay? Because it won't make sense if it's not. Must be in order. Okay? If you give somebody directions to your house and you don't put the directions in sequential order of what they need to do first, next, then after that, okay? First, second, third, fourth. What would happen? They'd probably get lost. You wouldn't see your friend. And honestly, they probably would be mad at you, right? Because how else are you going to get there? If you don't know the right way to go in the right order, it's like a puzzle. That's no fun to do, right? You give somebody recipes for a brand new thing that you just made and you're like, this is great, try this. And it's out of order, it's going to be really bad. They're really probably not going to like your recipe. Okay, so the same thing goes with stories. We do this all the time, and we're doing things that make sense. Now, I want you to write down some clue words that help you, some transitional words that help you with this, okay? I need more room, so let me, hold on one second. I need to scroll my screen down a little bit. And some of these transition words you know, right? Whoopsie, whoopsie, hey, don't do that. Transition words. Now, these words will clue you in if a story uses them, it'll clue you in like, hey, here's some sequencing events, right? Or if you're writing, you need to be using these transition words to help the readers know which comes first and second and third. Okay. Now, we all know first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth. You may only use those words if you are giving directions or writing a recipe. Okay? I don't want to see first, this happened. Second, this happened. Third, this happened. Nope. We are in 4th grade. We can do better than that this now. Okay? So we're going to use transition words like then, next, after that. And if I'm writing so are you, okay? Oh, before. That's a good one. You can do things like finally. Now remember, if you use finally, it's not gonna be in the middle of your paragraph, right? Finally would be at the end. Yes. So you're not going to use finally in the middle. You'll use finally at the end. Now, I remember how I said you can't use first, second, third, fourth. The only one that you may use is first, okay? I will allow that. You may use that, but you are not then allowed to use second, third, or fourth unless you are giving directions or writing a recipe, okay? Now, there's a couple special ones I want you to know. All right, I'm going to get out my green, make it all special. Here, let's put some stars by this. Also, and additionally. Now, here, these two words, and I made them special because they mean that it happens at the same time. Sometimes kids think, well, if I put, here's another transition word. Also, it is a transition word, but it doesn't tell us what order it goes in. If you say also, that means it's happening at the same time. Also, and additionally, you're saying it happens, the event happens at the same time as another event. Happens at the same time as another event. Now, whoops. Oh, goodness. Oh, that does look better. Oh, gosh. It's all connected. E-V, E-V, E-N-T. There we go. Okay, so you could say something like this. Like if I were telling you about my morning, I would say, first I got out of bed, then I went to the kitchen, made some and I made some coffee. Also, I fed the cat. Okay. So when you hear that, you know that I was in the kitchen, I made coffee, and at the same time as I was making coffee, I fed the cat. I do like I have this whole system down. But so that also means at the exact same time. So you can't say that um, uh, that it happened next. I could, but if it happened at the same time, you can use words like also and additionally. Okay. So if you have any questions, let me know. But those are some of your transition words. Now, when you see them, your brain should be going ding, 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 ding. Hello, wake up, wake up, wake up, because here's a sequencing of it, right? So I would look for those words. Sometimes they aren't always used, but they start off, or maybe you could find one as a clue and then start looking around and trying to find the beginning, middle, and end, okay? Now, excuse me. We talked about why these must be in order. Now let's just take an example of like making a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, all right? And okay, if you haven't made a peanut butter and jelly sandwich before, I have no words. Go ahead and make one, okay? But you really sequence events with doing anything. For example, you can sequence events of brushing your teeth. You can sequence events of starting your car. You could sequence events of like your nighttime routine. And a lot of times humans are creatures of habit. So we like to do the same thing the same way every time. What we find comfortable, so I can tell you, there's several times my sequencing events are the exact same because that's the way I like to do it. Even when I get up in the morning, I do the same thing every time before I go into work. So you can sequence just about anything. But right now we're going to sequence how to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. And I really wish I could see all of you and get some help because you should know how to do this. Now, this is a recipe, kinda, I guess I would allow it, but we're going to try to use some of those other words and write this more in a paragraph format, okay? So, the first thing I'm thinking, what is the very first thing that I need to do in order to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich? Well, I can't make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich with thin air, so I'm going to have to get all of my ingredients out, right? So I'm going to say first, Oh man, that does not look like an R. What's wrong with you, pen? First, gather all the ingredients. And I'm going to title this, we forgot, how to make make with an E. I'm going to put PB and J, as I like to call them that. So first, gather all the ingredients. Okay. Then, and I need a comma after my transition word, then open the bread bag and take out 2 slices of bread. Now, what I really like about this is this one right here. There's 2 things that I did in one transition word. Okay, so if you were to come back through, you would need to notice that there's 2 there in one transition. The transition word was then, but I did 2 things. I opened the bag and I took out 2 slices of bread, right? So be careful about that because sometimes they'll use words like and to show you that it's done at the same time. All right, so I'm going to say next because here's the other thing, guys. Next comma, we need a comma after our transition. The other thing is you don't want to start your every transition the exact same way over and over and over. You always say then. It gets boring. It's kind of awful. We don't want to do that. We want to make sure that we're using different words to kind of bump up our writing and to not make it sound so like monotone, so boring. So we actually want people to read some of our work, right? So we don't want to be saying the same thing over and over and over. Okay. So next, remove the lid of the peanut butter. Whoopsie. Butter. Okay. Period. It's important when you're sequencing that you add details. Okay. You don't want to miss a step because if somebody, sorry, a little hair was in my eye. If somebody was uh, looking off your how to make a PB&J sandwich and you didn't tell them to open up the bag or you didn't tell them to open the lid of the peanut butter, they might be trying to break open the peanut butter a different way. If I was with you, I would probably bring in all these ingredients and have you tell me how to make it. And somebody would say, well, you need 2 slices of bread. I'd rip the bag open and they're like, no, you have to open the bag. Well, you have to tell me that thing, right? You have to tell me about opening the bag. You have to tell me about removing the lid of the peanut butter. Okay. So I like this next part. So I'm going to say with a knife. Uh-oh, I need more room. Ugh. I wish I had all kinds of room. With a knife. So this is another way that I can change my writing, that I don't always have to start with a transition word, but I can incorporate it in the middle. So I'm going to say with a knife, comma, okay, that is a preposition. With a knife, spread the peanut butter. The D. I wish I could type peanut butter. I bet I could figure it out. On one slice of bread. And put the lid back on. Okay, now I want you to take a minute and I want you to write the side about the jelly. Okay, I'm not going to say anything. I want you to figure out the jelly part. Okay, I would pretty much mimic what we did with the peanut butter. All right, so I'm going to write while you write, but I want you to not be listening to me. I want you to be figuring it out. I'm going to change my transition word. Keep going. Get more room. Okay, so did you get it all down for the jelly? Um, did it sound like mine? Let's see. I said, I put mine in black. After that, remove the lid from the jelly jar. Then with a knife, spread the jelly on the other slice of bread. Don't forget to put the lid back on the jelly jar. Perfect. If yours doesn't sound exactly like mine, but here's what I want you to make sure that you did. Make sure that you told them to remove the lid. Make sure you remember to tell them to spread the jelly, obviously, and that you put the lid back on. Those three things need to happen with the jelly for our peanut butter and jelly sandwich, right? And each one should have had a different transition word or no transition word at all, kind of like I did at the end. Don't forget, okay? It kind of was our transition there. Now, there's three more things that we have to finish up with this. So we're going to finish up our peanut butter and jelly sandwich, but when you have your two slices, one peanut butter, one jelly, what do you have to do? So next, because I used then up here, so I'm going to use next, okay? So next, put two slices of bread together. All right, period. Then put away all of your ingredients. I like this one because you can't just be a slob and leave stuff out and just expect your parents to put it away for you. not how that works, okay? You are a responsible fourth grade student. You put it away. All right. So the last thing, and I told you there's a word that we use for last. Do you remember what it is? It starts with an F. It starts with an F. Finally, this is really bad handwriting. It just makes me so sad. Finally, enjoy your sandwich. So we have lots of transition words in there, okay? So see if you can come up with something that you do and try to put them in order. And I'm telling you guys, it's not too bad. It's really pretty easy. Sequencing is pretty easy. You're just putting things in the correct order. The problem is when you get them out of order and then they don't make any sense, okay? So let's take a break. Go ahead and get a drink of water or whatever you need to do, and we'll be right back with I'm going to try this. I've never tried it before, so let's hope it works. I'm going to say this is going to pause me, but I don't know that for sure. Hold on, let's see. Did it pause? Probably not. I'm going to go back to my normal. Take a break, and I will be right back. All right, welcome back. Here we go. Our next part of this, let's draw a little line, and let's do, this is actually called proverbs and adages. Okay. Now, this may not be something that we've gone over before, so I want you to listen up and pay attention, okay? These two words actually mean the exact same thing. So let's write the definition for that, okay? And it's kind of long, so I want you to stick with me. Ugh. They're short sayings and expressions. My pen, EXPERSSIONS. This little pen, I'm really trying to get it hard to work, but it's not working with me. Come on, little pen, stick with me. Okay, that have been used for a long time. Oh, it just needed a little encouragement. Look how much better that is. And express a general truth. Now, all cultures have different proverbs and adages. So like American culture might have one saying that means something, and another culture, like maybe the Spanish culture, or you know, the Chinese culture or something like that, they will have a different phrase that will help them to express, that's been used for a long time, that helps them express a general truth about something. And I have an example, and I think it'll kind of help, okay? So let me scroll down a little bit. And here's my example, okay? If I'm writing, you better be writing too. Example. Actions speak louder than words, okay? So there's your example of a proverb or an adjective, okay? So What does that mean? When people say, well, your actions speak louder than words, that means that when you are doing something, the way you behave, the way that you act when a situation comes about is going to tell people a lot more about who you are than your words ever will. Because sometimes you can say something and not ever do anything about it. And so then your words don't really mean anything, right? So people are watching who you are as a person based on what you do. In this case, actions speak louder than words. Okay. That's why sometimes I always think, don't tell me you're sorry, prove to me you're sorry, right? So I'm watching you to see if you really are sorry based on what you do. Okay, so let's just kind of write down what this means. It means people look at the way you act / behave to determine what kind of person you are. Okay, / will be. People don't know you. They might be watching you to see if they're going to trust you based on what you're doing, right? And how you present yourself and how you act around other people and just the way you treat other people, right? So actions speak louder than words. Okay, that is a proverb. That is a short saying or expression that have been used for a long time to express a general truth. Okay. Now we have one more thing to go over, and then you'll be all whoopsie. Goodness gracious, and then you'll be all done. Okay. So let's go ahead and draw another line. And our genre for this week, is informational article. And it kind of tells us what this genre is going to be about, right? So the very first thing I always ask, well, is it fiction or nonfiction? And you can kind of tell what it's going to be, right? Informational. Is it going to be made up or is it going to be real? It's going to be real. It's nonfiction. It's going to give you information, right? So we're putting that as a bullet point. Nonfiction. And I think we can even put gives information. Information and facts about people, places, or things. People, places, things, events, okay, things like that. And there's one more, and it may include, you should be trying to be guessing what I'm going to say. May include text features. Woohoo! Okay, remember text features are captions, headings, bolded words, pictures, diagrams, graphs, things like that. Okay, they include text features. So informational articles are nonfiction, gives information and facts about people, places, or things, and may include text features. Pretty simple. All right, guys, I am out of here and you are all done taking your notes. Get started on your next lesson. Okay, you're doing such a wonderful job and we're so proud of all the work that you're completing. We appreciate how hard you're working and how cooperative you're being. Just keep up the good work. We're really proud of you. We really miss you. We really, really love you and we're wishing all of you are well. Reach out to us if you have any questions. We'd be happy to help in any way that we can, okay? All right, we love you a lot. All right, bye-bye. I gotta figure out how to close this out now. Okay, for real. Bye-bye, love you.